What's up guys, it's Tom here and the Arne Slot era is underway. Liverpool have beaten Real Betis 1-0 with a brilliant Szoboszlai goal, and we have so much to talk about because Arne Slot has shown what Liverpool fans can expect in this new season, and it's very exciting but controlled possession football, and I think Arne Slot will unlock a lot of players' true potential. Szoboszlai, when he is playing further forward and not as a box-to-box midfielder, but more as an attacking midfielder, as a number 10. He will thrive in this Arne Slot system. Let me know in the comments below, what did you think of the performance? Who stood out for you guys? I think Trey Nyoni is an absolute superstar in the making. He looks such a complete footballer, even at 17 years old. He needs to bulk up, of course. He needs to add some muscle and some physical strength, but his game intelligence, his touches, his passing range is already fantastic. We will talk more about him as well, and I think it's now very clear that Liverpool are in desperate need for a brilliant defensive midfielder who is not just a destroyer but who can also dictate the tempo of the play, who has the passing range needed to play in this Liverpool team. And I think it's pretty obvious already after one game that Liverpool need a much better defensive midfielder than Endo. I like Endo, I like his work rate, I like his passing, but he's not a Rodri or Declan Rice level player. And that's the kind of level that Liverpool need to get close to. I don't think there is another defensive midfielder on the market anywhere near the quality of Rodri or Declan Rice, but Liverpool need to sign a much better defensive midfielder than Endo. And don't get me wrong, Endo still had a pretty okay game, but he gave the ball away so many times in the first half that it was worrying. And also it was very strange because you thought that Endo would be desperate to impress the new coach, but he put in a pretty lackluster performance. But actually Liverpool played in a very strange formation with not a recognized striker because we don't have Jadon Dance. He is nursing an injury. Diogo Jota just joined the squad yesterday, so he didn't play. Darwin Núñez is still on holiday. Cody Gakpo is still on holiday now after the international tournaments. So Liverpool played with two number 10s, Harvey Elliott, Szoboszlai, and we played like a strange hybrid formation where Carvalho, Harvey Elliott, Salah were rotating, and we didn't play with a recognized out-and-out striker. Endo and Curtis Jones played a little bit more reserved, deeper roles, and I thought Curtis Jones had a pretty good game. Harvey Elliott had also an okay game, but Harvey Elliott also needs to up his game a little bit because he sometimes takes too many touches. That was the problem of Curtis Jones previously, but he's now much better in that department. So Harvey Elliott needs to be more decisive. Sometimes he doesn't know whether to dribble, to shoot, to pass. He needs to think quicker, and that will come with experience. Fabio Carvalho also had a pretty good game. He had some really nice touches. Mo Salah, of course, as ever, he was pretty brilliant. He had a couple of shots which went off target, but I think the standout performer was Szoboszlai, who had very good touches. And actually Liverpool improved when Curtis Jones went off injured. He picked up a slight knock, but it wasn't because of anything that happened in the game. So I think he had maybe a tight muscle that he thought we shouldn't risk it. It's pre-season. Hopefully he won't be out for long, because Curtis Jones is desperate to impress the new manager Arne Slot, but actually he had to come off after 30 minutes, and Trey Nyoni came on, and when he came on, he was absolutely immense. When he gets the ball, he already knows what he wants to do with it. He's much more decisive than Harvey Elliott, even though he's only 17 years old. And his passing range and his tall physique is already very impressive. And Liverpool overall dominated possession, as you can see. We really controlled the game, controlled the tempo. Arne Slot said something very interesting in his post-match press conference, that we want to be a much more controlled team, so we prevent constant counterattacks happening against us. And I think that was the biggest weakness that Arne Slot identified watching last season's games. And it's not so much as a criticism to Jurgen Klopp, it's just a slightly different tactical playing style that Arne Slot wants to implement. And it's crucial that Liverpool prevent fast counter-attacks happening, because there was an incident where Vatorando gave away the ball and there were like 4 Real Betis defenders running towards the defense. By the way, Liverpool were very, very solid defensively. Apart from that chance, Real Betis only had one more clear chance, and that came in the last 10 minutes of the game, where most of the first team was already off the pitch, and there were a bunch of youth academy and reserve players on the pitch. And apart from that, we restricted the Real Betis to very few chances. And Trey Nyoni had a 91% passing accuracy in just 41 minutes played either side of halftime. That's immense. He also had the successful dribbles, one successful dribble, one accurate long ball, and 8 passes into the final third, which I really like, that Trey Nyoni is passing balls into the final third, into the danger area. One of the most impressive young performances of Liverpool, and I think Liverpool fans can be very hopeful that Trey Nyoni will become a world-class player, because if he's this good at 17 years old with the right development, he could go to the very top, and I'm really excited about this kid. Hopefully he will get minutes at Liverpool, or maybe we should send him out on loan to maybe a championship club. I'm not really sure what is best for his development, but also it's great to see Dominic Szoboszlai start the Arne Slot era. By the way, Real Betis is my favorite team in Spain, so it was poetic that a fellow Hungarian like me, Dominic Szoboszlai, scored the opening goal between Liverpool, my favorite team, and Real Betis, my favorite team in Spain, my second favorite team overall, between them, and it's the Hungarian who's opened the scoring. And it started off with Trey Nyoni, because Trey Nyoni, after he got the ball back, after we pressed Real Betis, we won the ball back, Trey Nyoni looks up and he sees Dominic Szoboszlai in the space. He passes it to him, and then Szoboszlai passes it to Salah on the wing, and then he makes the run and points that he wants the ball in behind the last defender, and Salah puts an inch perfect assist into the path of Dominic Szoboszlai, who slams the ball home into the bottom far corner. Absolutely brilliant finish. Breaking into the box like that is what we didn't get to see Szoboszlai do that often last season, but it should become a habit under Arne Slot, and hopefully Dominic Szoboszlai will thrive this season under Arne Slot. He made 77% of his passes, 23 of 30 passes, which is not great, but he sometimes tried risky passes, and he also had 2 touches in the opposition box, and one of them was the goal. He won 3 duels, he won 2 out of his 3 tackles, and he also made 1 accurate long ball, and his passing range was not that good, but I think he had a good performance. Compare that to Vatorando, who made 92% of his passes, and yet we all remember the 2 or 3 passes that he didn't make, because it was in Liverpool's own final third. It was always danger when Vatorando gave away the ball, and that was a problem. If he gives the ball away, in the opposition's half, that's not as big of a problem as when he gives the ball away in his own near the own penalty area of Liverpool. So Vatorando definitely needs to improve, and Liverpool overall needs to sign a defensive midfielder. Vatorando, as I said, still had a pretty okay performance, but he got dribbled past once. He made 4 defensive actions, he got 4 free recoveries. But he only won 2 of his 5 ground duels, which is not great, to be honest. And he also got a yellow card after he dragged back his opponent. Sepp van den Berg also had a pretty good game. He completed the most passes on the pitch for Liverpool. 80 of 83 passes completed. He won all of his duels and tackles, and he made 2 interceptions and 5 recoveries, which is the 3rd most in the Liverpool team. So he also made 2 passes into the final third, and that's really good. And Liverpool will emphasize playing through the opposition's press and not around it, and that could really expose a few of Endo's weaknesses, which is that physically he's not that strong, he's not really that fast either, And yes, he has a good passing, but long passes is not really great at. And I think it's absolutely necessary that Liverpool sign a defensive midfielder. So Liverpool needs a very high quality technical player, comfortable in tight spaces for this position. So a midfielder like Martin Zubimendi of Real Sociedad would be a perfect fit for this Arne Slot system and what a defensive midfielder is required to do in this Arne Slot system. And even Arne Slot admitted when Trey Nyoni came on that Liverpool improved. It started with Trey Nyoni who came on, who speeded up the game for us a lot. He found these players in between the lines a lot of times. That's the quality we needed in those number 6 positions. So Curtis Jones didn't do that. He still has a habit of making one touch too many, taking 1 second too long on the ball. Harvey Elliott as well is guilty of that, and that's why they are probably not going to start for Liverpool next season. They still need to improve their decision making, their thinking. I thought Tyler Morton, who came on at halftime for Waterloo, had a really good game. He made 97% of his passes, 28 of his 29 passes. He also made 2 passes into the final third. He made 1 accurate long ball of 1, which is really good, really impressive. And Arne Slot said that Trey Nyoni did really well. And he has just turned 17 years old, but his body of course has to grow, and we are really careful with him so he doesn't join every session, and sometimes he goes out a bit earlier because he has only turned 17, so you can't put as much load on him as on the senior players. But you can see his quality, but you can also see his body still needs some time to grow to play at the Premier League level. Yeah, because he has a very slight frame, so he needs to bulk up, he needs to build some muscle, and his body is still growing and developing, so you can't throw him into the Premier League. But sometimes as a substitute coming on for 20-30 minutes, I think would be a good experience for Trey Nyoni. Stefan Bajcetic was also very impressive when he came on. Arne Slot said this about Bajcetic. You have to take into account with Stefan Bajcetic that he was out for almost 1.5 years. So if a young player is out for that long, you have to give him some time. But I saw today already a few good moments from him, and also a few moments where he got caught because he acted a bit too slow, but I think that's normal. If you have been out for such a long time, then you need rhythm, you need game time to grow even further and to also get match sharpness. But I think he showed some good moments during the half hour that he played. And Arne Slot said that there were a few positives today around our game, but a few things that we have to improve as well. The positive thing is that we kept a clean sheet. We only conceded 1 big chance, and that was somewhere around the last 10 minutes of the game. So we controlled the game really well, and in between we had a few good attacks where we created a few good chances and scored a good goal. Those were the positives from this game. And we were trying to build up from the back. That is our style, to control the game and to not concede constant counterattacks. That will hopefully be our style during the season. There are also, of course, many things we can improve, but that's normal after 2 weeks that Liverpool are still in early development. And we pressed Real Betis higher than how Real Betis pressed Liverpool. Arne Slot said we won the ball back a lot of times high in their half, but there were moments where they pressed us high and we played through their press the few times really good. So the goal was an example of that. But our biggest chance of the second half was an example of that as well. But I also saw moments where we lost the ball too simple. We made the wrong choices, and I think that's normal after 2 weeks of trying to implement more control from the back. So yeah, Waterloo gave the ball away a couple of times. Sepp van den Berg also gave the ball away 1 or 2 times in the first half in dangerous areas. Thankfully, Betis didn't have the quality to punish us, but we take some things which we can and have to improve, especially with the likes of Arsenal and Man United coming up. And I really like that Liverpool are playing so many very strong teams in pre-season, because it will expose weaknesses in the team and in the squad. And we have to see that. Arne Slot has to see that so he can instruct Richard Hughes on what kind of player or what kind of players Liverpool need to sign. So that's my verdict, that's my review of Liverpool's first game under Arne Slot. I'm really excited and very optimistic about the season. And if we sign a really good defensive midfielder, then who knows, we can maybe even challenge for the Premier League title, which I think is what Liverpool fans are secretly or not so secretly hoping for and praying for. But Arne Slot's football will be very exciting to watch, and I'm really excited about the new season. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.